might stumble. The problem I have is what the Bucs have to accomplish. And specifically, you already mentioned that it's the Panthers in Week 17, those same pesky Bears in 16, and then 15 they have the Rams. Okay, I'm confident the Bucs could beat the Rams, but that's not necessarily a gimme since, Todd Gurley decided to remember how to run the football. The Bears, you never know what you're getting from them. Hell, they just, more on that, more on their game and how close it was later. And then the Panthers. If they win, the Bucs are Giants fans this week because they need the Panthers to lose. And that's the only way the Bucs win that game is if they're sitting Cam Newton. And even then it's not a gimme because Derek Anderson in the past, in 2014 in particular, did a great job of backing Cam up.
Against the Bucs. All right.
So if you needed a more detailed reason of why you think the Bucs are done, that's it. Everybody got that? There'll be a test later.
So what I said in 3 seconds, it took him...
Shut up!
Jameis Winston, we were just talking about, he should be mentioned the Offensive Rookie of the Year last week. He didn't put up that much impressive numbers this game. Yeah, he didn't turn the ball over. That's good for a rookie quarterback, not turning the ball over. But he was 18 for 32 for 182 yards against the Saints defense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good answer for that either. I don't know if that's a matter of play calling and scheme. It looked to me like they tried to run the ball a little bit more in this game.
But they've tried to run the ball more in every game. I mean, if you look at this, his receivers only had 65 yards receiving combined, a wide receiver spot. Out of his 182, that means there's 117 yards were to running backs and tight ends. Doug Martin had 81 yards on the ground, and he had a touchdown.
Yeah, I see where you're going. I mean, we'll get more into the Rookie of the Year race a little bit later.
Okay. Drew Brees had one of his better days this year, 31 for 41 over 312 yards with 2 touchdowns. Running back Tim Hightower. Name sounds a little familiar, huh?
Say.
Yeah. You know when he was drafted? I'll give you a hint. He's been out of the league 1 year less than he's been in it.
He's been out of the league 1 year less
than he's been in the league.
He's been in the league. So he's been out of the league for 3 years and in it for 2, I'm guessing. Are you counting this year?
The other way around.
Wait, what'd I say? He's been out of the league for
3 years.
3 years, and I thought that's what I said. Did I say it wrong? Okay.
He's been out of the league 1 year less than he's been in the league.
Right. So he's been. Oh, okay. So he's been in the league 3 years, out 2. Okay, I heard it wrong.
No.
It's just really weird because
I'm terrible.
He's been out of the league for 3 years.
Yeah.
So that means he's been in the league for 4.
Oh, okay.
So 7 years, 2008.
With the Cardinals.
With the Cardinals is where he was drafted.
That part I knew. I couldn't tell you when it was, but it sounds to me like you're getting at 2008?
Yeah. 2008, he was drafted in the 4th or 5th round by the Cardinals.
Wow.
I looked it up yesterday because I'm like, Tim Howard, that sounds familiar. He hasn't been in the league in a while. And I look over to he's a 4-year veteran. He's 29 years old with a 4-year veteran, and he was drafted in 2008. I'm like, huh.
It's kind of weird that with Ingram out, I was thinking that, okay, you got C.J. Spiller. He's ready to go. He's gonna, he was gonna be the guy. And they also had, was it Fred Taylor too? Fred Jackson. Fred Jackson.
Or check that. Fred Jackson. First of all, Fred Taylor's a retired player. Fred Jackson is actually in Seattle.
In Seattle, okay. Well, I was expecting Spiller to be the guy, and out of nowhere comes Hightower, and so he got a score. So
yeah, I mean he had 85 yards on the ground with a touchdown.
Best analysis of this particular game. You got a score. Thank you, Weasel. Did he ever run for 69 yards? I'm just curious.
No.
Moving on.
Willie Snead had 122 yards receiving. Ben Watson had 70. But it was the reemergence of Marquise Colston with 2 touchdown catches.
Jimmy who?
Difference in the game, time of possessions. The Saints had the ball for 1 quarter more than the Bucs.
I mean, I guess Tim Hightower opened up options they didn't have before, which is something I haven't had to say in a while. So, yeah.
So the Bucs couldn't do what every other team could do on the Saints on the score.
Interesting. I mean, the Bucs scored on them plenty the first time they played. Wasn't that 42-14 or something? I don't know. Point is this: the Bucs are in trouble. I'll say that. and Chris is already, you know.
I already wrote him off.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, with that, next game up, Steelers, Bengals, Weasel Weez.
In a huge divisional matchup, the Steelers on the road defeated the Bengals 33-20. Steelers quarterback Big Ben Roethlisberger was 30 of 39, 282 yards, no touchdowns, 1 INT. He was sacked twice. Steelers running back D'Angelo Williams, 23 carries for 76 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wide receiver Antonio Brown had 7 catches for 87 yards, and Heath Miller added 10 for 66. Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton, 3 of 5, 59 yards and an INT. The interception occurred with 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter on a 2nd and goal at the 5-yard line. Dalton, he threw a shovel pass, but he didn't see the 303-pound defensive end Stephon Tuitt.
That's because he was standing sideways.
I see what you did there.
So he intercepted it, and Dalton tried to tackle him, and he had to leave the game due to a right thumb fracture. So it does turn out, though, today that he will not need surgery, which means that he may be able to play back at least, into the playoffs, but I think they're calling him a week-to-week type of thing. The backup, A.J. McCarron, was 22 of 32, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs. He did have an impressive 66-yard touchdown pass to one A.J. Green.
With some of the worst tackling I've ever seen a Steeler try to execute.
I was about to say that was more of A.J. Green doing it, but
yeah, well, that's what he does.
He got the ball down there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Green made a good move. It was just some garbage tackling. I'm sorry.
Well, hey, they tackle each other pretty well, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nailed it. But on the other side, early in the third quarter, he threw a pick six. An interception returned 23 yards for a touchdown by Steelers cornerback William Gay. A.J. Green, he did have 6 catches for 132 yards in that touchdown. You have running back Rex Burkhead. Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty rugged name, dude. I'm not going to lie.
It is.
I'm not talking smack on a guy named Rex Burkhead. I'm less. The only guy I'm less likely to make fun of is Dane Seisenbacher, or what's the guy used to be on my Stoneburner. Okay, the only 2 guys I'm more likely to talk smack on. 4 guys counting Watt and Merciless. But yeah, Rex Burkhead.
Yeah.
I mean, dude,
it's pretty awesome.
I'm just saying.
He had a 5-yard touchdown reception, and then the first half, big blow for the Bengals offense. Tight end Tyler Eifert had to leave the game due to a concussion. Concussion protocol. That's what he's got to have the next, we'll see how long. Steelers kicker Chris Boswell was 4-4 in field goals, and he was 3 of 3 on extra points.
You have to mention that now.
Now you have, it's like, awesome, 3 of 3 on extra points. Back then, nothing.
To hear this music.
What's the Steelers kicker again? What's his name?
Chris Boswell.
Yeah. How long has he been in the league? Do you know?
Weeks.
Well, I know what weeks with the Steelers, because the Steelers traded for Scooby from the Jags, and that
didn't work out. Yeah.
Right, but this guy's extra points and field goals were like, if you could draw a line down the middle of the uprights, it was basically straight down the middle, every single one of them. Mm-hmm. It was like wow, look at it. It's like,
so it's like the opposite of Robbie Gould. No, he didn't.
I didn't say that.
I said it. That's right. I said it.
Hey, no matter how many times Robbie Gould misses, still less than Jason Myers from the Jags.
So true.
The positive side.
I mean, that could be his thing when he goes to the sidelines with Robbie Gould going down with the coach looking at him like, hey, at least I'm not Jason Myers.
So, Mr. Boswell, thank you for coming in today, Chris. Just wanted to let you know that we might be going a different direction at the kicker position, so we're going to let you go. I just want to know, is there anything you want to say before we wrap up here today? Oh, come on, I'm not Jason Myers! Anyway, keep going, man.
So, pretty much, should the Bengals risk playing Andy Dalton before the playoffs?
Let me tell you where I'm at with my reasoning before I tell you my answer. Remaining schedule is two of the 3 weeks are these massive NFL juggernauts. The 49ers and the Ravens. Very good, Chris. Both of which I am fairly confident that A.J. McCarron could beat on his own. Then there's the Denver Broncos. Now, the Denver Broncos, depending on their ground, are, let's put it this way. When it comes to getting a bye this year, you don't have to be the fastest person. You just have to be faster than the one that's ranked the 3rd seed. And in light of the fact the Broncos are where they are, and the Patriots currently are where they are, you just have to make sure you don't lose that 3rd game. You put in McCarron against the Broncos if you're that concerned about Andy Dalton. You lose that game, you go 2-1. I believe
You still make the playoffs.
You still get the bye at that point as well. Yep. Of course, they did just lose to the Steelers, so I may need to reevaluate my math.
Yeah, they're still like a game or two up on the Steelers.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the division. I'm talking about the
overall record. I'm talking about.
Right, and I'm talking about the conference rankings. So let me look. So I said it wrong. The Patriots have 2 losses, and the Bengals now have a 3rd loss. So that's a problem. And maybe they don't need to try to keep up with the Patriots. Well, they just need to make sure they're ahead of the Broncos. Is my point.
Well, before the game started yesterday, the Patriots are in 3rd.
Right, and now they're not.
And now, yeah, because both teams.
And that's where I got confused.
Lost.
I mean, I'll just call it what it is. But
which I thought was funny is because the Bengals played first, and they were in first place going into yesterday, and they're like, oh, they dropped down to 3. Now the Broncos are number 1. It's like the other 2 games haven't even played yet. Why are you even talking like, oh, they dropped down to this and that? And I'm like,
drama, change the channel. That's why. Okay.
Well, mine is you're stupid. I'm changing the channel.
Well, you can always just put it on mute. There's that, which you've done before
still gotta
too.
Look at your stupid face though. Their stupid face though. It's.
Well, but then you could pantomime what they're saying. Hey, Joe, that's a great dress you wore on Thursday night. That kind of. I don't know. Anyways, are we good there, Weasel?
Good.
In that case, yeah. The next game up involves the Rams and the Lions. Weasel, go ahead.
The Rams at home defeated the Lions 21-14. Rams quarterback Case Keenum was 14 of 22, 124 yards, 1 INT, sacked once. Rams rookie running back Todd Gurley decided to show up. 16 carries for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Does that mean his name is Todd decided to finally not be Gurley?
Okay, I can see that.
But Weasel allows it. Only because of all the points he got on your bench.
Yeah, on my bench, exactly. So, Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford was 30 of 46, 245 yards and 2 touchdowns, sacked 4 times. The first score of the game was a pick 6 by Rams cornerback Trumaine Johnson, who returned Stafford's interception 58 yards for a touchdown. Lions wide receiver Golden Tate had 9 catches for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bad news for Lions. Tight end Brandon Pettigrew is out for the season due to a torn ACL.
Oh.
That stinks.
Yeah.
Golden Tate, he scored a touchdown with 2:07 remaining to bring the Lions within 1 score as they were down 21-14. The Lions actually successfully recovered the onside kick at their own 47-yard line, but the offense couldn't get anything going as they were stopped on a 4th and 3. So, you got Todd Gurley showing back up to having some positive fantasy points here, but where do you put him in terms of offensive rookie of the year?
Okay, so at this point, I think there's only 3 names that you're really examining in the top of the race, right? Obviously, Amari Cooper of the Carter-Cooper combo. Okay. Winston, right? Jameis Winston. Yep. And, of course, Todd Gurley.
I'd say possibly maybe Lockett from Seattle. Maybe should get some couple votes.
High Lockett. I would need to do more research.
He wouldn't be offense because a lot of times with it, he's come on strong the last 2 weeks. But beginning the first 8 games of the season, he was not an offensive threat. He was a kick returner, punt returner. So that would just limit him out because he's not really as offense. It's more of a special teams.
That's an interesting question. I don't know how they played with that. What's he listed on as a roster?
He's a wide receiver.
Yeah,
but
I think based on that, he would have to be an offensive. But I could be wrong.
But he doesn't have any offensive stats. So if you're looking like what they always do stat-wise, they don't show punt returns and kick returns on their stats. It's on their special all-purpose yards.
They may do that as an addition thing. I think that's part of that was part of Cordero Patterson's consideration during his year. But It's an interesting question, but I think just anyway, I would put Lockett fourth. If we're having that discussion.